First of all, obviously Andy Robertson has spoken about his future. I just wonder what you hope happens with Andy with him being out of contract, because he says that he has a different role here this season than he's getting enjoyment out of, but ultimately he wants to play.
Yeah, no, I think. Oh, you don't have a chair. I think I have to give him a big compliment about the things he said. Very mature, and I could understand everything he was saying. So I think every player should have the same feeling about his current position, and that is that he's not starting every game. But I'm really happy that he also says that he finds joy in the position he's in, and that he also understands how important he is. He's been to this club for all these years, and he's definitely still is also in the position where he's in now. And he did play quite a lot of games, not as much as he probably hoped. But the way he's acting, and he's also now comments in the media, is a big compliment and says a lot about him. How good he's been for this club in the past 8.5 years.
Obviously, you're about to get Mo Salah back from the African Cup of Nations as well. I wonder how much of a positive is that for you, and how do you keep him happy so that there is a distraction again, as there was prior to his departure for the competition?
Now, first of all, he needs to play another big game for Egypt on Saturday, and then he comes back to us, and I'm happy that he comes back because, similar to Andy, Mo has been so important for this club, for me. So I'm happy that he's back, because it's even if I had 15 attackers, I still would have been happy if he would have come back. But that's not our current situation. So happy to have him back after an important game that he still has to play.
An important game again for you guys. 11 games unbeaten now. What's the next step that you feel you have to take now?
No, ideally it's not 11 games unbeaten, it's 11 wins in a row. That's always where you're aiming for, if that is realistic. It might be for some teams. I think Villa won a lot of games in a row. But from where we were when we conceded the 4th goal against PSV, and then where we are now, I think we're in a much better place. But there's still enough room for improvement, but that room for improvement was there also last season when we were top of the league and top of the Champions League in this period of time.
Morning. In the rest of the Premier League season, is Champions League qualification everything for Liverpool? And bearing in mind Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Newcastle, maybe some others are all fighting it out for perhaps 1 or 2 remaining places. How much of a challenge is it?
No, it's a challenge because we're playing in the Premier League, and the teams you were just mentioning have very good teams as well. And we haven't put ourselves in the most ideal position, especially if you compare it to where we were after 6 games. So, but reality is that we are competing with these teams at this moment of time for the 4th position, because Villa is having such a great season. Still a lot to play for us in the league, because we all know how important it is for any club, but definitely also for this club, to qualify for Champions League. That didn't happen 2 or 3 years ago, I think, and that had a big impact financially on the club. We are aware of the importance of qualification for Champions League, but that's not only for us, that's for a lot of teams. And we're also aware of the fact that the league is probably stronger than ever. So that is something where we have to do really well in the league, and of course there's the FA Cup and the Champions League to fight for as well.
And for this weekend, Burnley, I think it's 12 without a win, but a lot of those games have been pretty close and they've caused problems for teams. I just wondered how you assess them.
No, I only have to think back about the game we've played there. I think it was 95th minute, when we at last got a penalty we deserved for a handball. But you never know if you get it, because 3 weeks later we had another referee, maybe it was the same referee, by the way, and there was a clear handball from United, and he didn't thought that was a penalty. So you never know 100% sure if what you deserve you get in life in general, but definitely in referee decisions. So that was a game where we've had multiple chances before we at last scored that penalty. but they made it really hard for us that day, and they've made it really hard for a lot of other teams since then as well. So yeah, we will be ready. We're looking forward to it. Another home game, another game where we want to show that we can do better for making from all that ball possession more chances. We've worked again this week and the last weeks a lot on that, and I'm hoping and waiting for the moment when things really click and people will say, now from all this ball possession, this was nice to watch. There's also a lot of chances combined to that. But the moment we generate more chances again, we probably have to be a bit more open as well. And in a certain period of this season, it's also shown that we then conceded quite a lot of counterattacks. So we have to find the ideal balance in creating more, but still concede hardly anything.
Arne, how do you go about creating that balance? Because it has been sort of slightly problematic, even during this impressive 11-match unbeaten run, where, you know, on occasions, when you've been creating at the top end of the pitch, you've been conceding chances. Sometimes there hasn't been the fluidity and cohesion at the top end that you'd normally expect.
Yeah, I think in the last 11 games, we've hardly conceded chances. So, but in the period before that, when we lost a lot of games, we created a lot of chances, but we conceded more chances than we are conceding recently. And those were more open games, where maybe people look back at it now, please give us those open games again. But the results weren't as we wanted them to be. So we have to find that balance, and we will, because I can see the players growing. They get more and more belief again, and they're getting better, fitter, as I've mentioned many times. So we are just waiting for a moment where we are, because we're doing well, like you just said, but where we can kickstart our season even more than we've done in the recent 11 games.
And as we sit now, middle of January, Champions League to come, Liverpool in a good position, at least, you know, to battle for fourth place in the Champions League, still in the FA Cup. What's your assessment of what can be achieved in the remainder of the campaign if those improvements that you've just been talking about, if they come to fruition?
No, I think first of all it's important to improve, no matter where you are in the season. If you do really well, you need to improve. You need to get your game better and better and better, because the teams you're facing usually towards the end of the Champions League or in the FA Cup are stronger teams as well. So first of all, you need to improve, and then second of all, the margins in those games are so small. We've experienced that last season where we were the only team that brought Paris Saint-Germain to penalties. We were the only team to bring them very close to elimination. Is that elimination? But in the end, they took the penalties better than us. So these are the margins you are talking about. So it's difficult to talk about what can you achieve, because you need sometimes a little bit of luck in those moments as well. But if luck becomes important, you need to be really good, because for me, but maybe I was the only one, I didn't really get why the goal from Man City was disallowed against Newcastle. But it didn't influence the result, because they were able to score the second goal afterwards and still win the game with 2-0. And that is, I think, a good example of a game where you might be a bit unlucky with a referee decision, but you're still able to win it. And that is something I've spoken about a lot recently, and is a good example of how I want it to be. So the penalty against United shouldn't have influenced our result, but it did, because we lost 2-1. So where in the same game, of course, there was a player on the floor with 4 stitches, and it didn't lead to the referee stopping the game. But those moments should not influence our results anymore, and there we have to work a lot on.
Thank you.
Carl?
Just on Mo, when do you expect him to be available for you again?
Next week, we're in talks with him, what is expected of him over there and what we expect over here. So, but first of all, he needs to have an important game on Saturday, and next week he will be back with us.
So, Champions League would be too soon, would it?
That's something we are talking about together now. Yeah.
And just generally, squad-wise, how are you looking this weekend?
Sorry?
In terms of the squad, how are you looking? You got any
Yes, we've got a few injuries. We've got Giovanni Leoni out for the season. We've got Conor Bradley out for the season, and Alexander Isak out for multiple months. But for the rest, I think everyone is available.
So I would like to ask you about your Hungarian players. Did you talk to Dom?
I talk a lot to players and also to Dom. Yes.
Yeah, after the.
Oh.
after
Yeah, we spoke about that. Yes. Yeah.
and it's sorted.
Sorry.
It's all sorted.
Yeah, of course it's sorted. Yeah, it was not his best thing he did for Liverpool, but during that game he had a few very other good moments as well. I scored a great goal, had an unbelievable cross towards Florian Wirtz, who almost scored the 3-1 at that moment of time. But that moment wasn't his best that he had for Liverpool, where you were talking about.
Right, and on Milos, who had a tremendous game against Arsenal and had some rest in the FA Cup game, would you put him on the starting 11 again, or maybe?
Who knows? The players will find out today. So,
Game to play?
sorry.
Or would you opt Kerkez or Andy Robertson for the starting 11, considering that you said that Andy needs to play some games as well?
I didn't say he needs to play some games. I said he already played a lot of games for us, and I also think if you want to keep players available for the rest of the season, that they indeed need games as well. But that's not only for those two. That's for more players. I know who's going to play on Saturday, and the players will find out today. So I think that's the following order it should be.
Just on getting the low block, I think you probably expect another low block tomorrow. I don't know if you're on Instagram, but you got Petit posting about it as well. How do you actually go about that challenge in training? Like, what's been done to sort of deal with the low block?
Nah, that is a style you face that is indeed not for the first time. We've faced that already a lot of times, so you can work on that a lot of times as well. Because it's not only in a session that you work on these things. You have a lot of, we've had a lot of experience in games like that. And there are a few things we can improve, but that usually comes with risk. And the risk then is that we have to make sure that we don't concede too many counterattacks. Because that's what happened earlier on in the season when we faced the low blocks, that we were pushing. But then in a counterattack we've conceded a goal. So in that period of time, we maybe have lost games that we are drawing or winning now. Because I think in all these games we've not been creating enough chances, but I every time say the same from all the ball possession we have. But earlier on in the season we also conceded 2, 3, 4 chances, where now we hardly concede a chance. So that's something positive. But we've worked yesterday again, and we will keep working on details, because there's not a lot what we can change, but details which can hopefully lead to a major shift in the amount of chances we get. Because sometimes a small detail can influence a lot, because the margins in football, or as I said so many times, really small. And this is where we constantly work on, constantly trying to find an advantage with the players available, because you cannot change the players you have available.
And just on one thing you said, you're in touch with him. Did you share any messages after Wednesday night?
You talking about Mo now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think what happens between Mo and me, on our phone or over here, stays between the two of us, and I don't think it's necessary for me to share all the private conversations I have either on phone or here with any of my players.
Michael?
There's been a lot of talk about the number of defenders you've got available at the moment. Can I just ask about Calvin Ramsey? He obviously hasn't played a huge amount in the last couple of years for Liverpool. What role do you see him having in the second half of the season and in around the first team?
No, I think it's great for Kelvin where he is at the moment, because I think half a year ago he came back to this club to the under-21s, and I don't think they're. Of course, everyone who's playing in the under-21s is hoping for a moment, for a chance he could get, but it's a big chance that he's having now to come to the first team. So when someone is really unlucky with the injuries we are having, there's always a player that benefits from that, and Kelvin is one of them. So he's with us. But I still think I have better options to play. But the moment I'm running out of options, he has shown in the one game he played against Palace and the moments he trains with us that he is good enough to be in and around our players. And then sometimes you have to wait for a chance to show this to the rest of the world. But at this moment of time, I have, in my opinion, still better options than him.
Just to double check, Conor Bradley's injury last week, has it changed your thoughts about transfers in the January window at all?
I think everyone is aligned about the challenges we are facing. That's not to say that we are going to act, but everyone is aligned on what we are facing. There's no one who has a different opinion about it. But that's not to say that anything is going to happen.